The year is 1895, France, a small station in the town of La Ciotat. At first glance, it's an ordinary day. The Lumiere brothers set up their camera on a wooden tripod and film a short 50-second clip. Nothing extraordinary. A train approaches the platform. Passengers step off, someone waves, someone adjusts their hat. Life just as it is. But if you look deeper, something inside you stirs. Because this wasn't just a film. It was the first captured moment of a new reality. The first synchronization, the first upload. Before this, history was only written. In texts, in paintings, in myths. Nothing was truly anchored. Everything could be rewritten, reshaped, reimagined. But with the arrival of moving pictures, something irreversible happened. A new code was born. A fixed record. And the symbolism of the scene is too precise to be mere coincidence. A train, an arrival, as if it wasn't just a mode of transport, but a metaphor for the arrival of players into this world. They step off the carriages, one after another, as if loading into a new level of reality. Each passenger, a new character in the game. The script begins to unfold right there, right then. And it becomes almost chilling to realize, maybe this wasn't about transportation. Maybe it was the launch. The activation of the first scenario. From that exact moment, with the grainy flicker of those black and white frames, human history, real, recorded history, began. Not just stories, not just legends, but visual reality. The Matrix gained its first anchor point, the first checkpoint, the first save file. Look carefully at those old frames. Not at the color, not at the clothing. Look at the people themselves. Their movements are stiff, mechanical, as if their bodies are unfamiliar, like freshly downloaded avatars still syncing to their own physical forms. Their faces, almost expressionless. Frozen smiles, blank stares, minimal emotional range, like early character models with only a basic set of animations. Walk, stand, sit, glance. They seem incomplete, as if they've only just appeared. Not fully loaded. A beta version of humanity. No customization. No individual soul shining through. Only the bare essentials to function within this game. And it makes you wonder, maybe 1895 wasn't just the birth of cinema. Maybe it was the birth of the recorded Matrix. Before that, everything was flexible, erasable, modifiable. After that, reality became anchored, harder to edit. That's why when you watch old footage, something inside you feels off. You sense the gap, the dissonance. They are not like us. They are from a different blueprint, a different patch of the simulation. And this realization sends a quiet chill down your spine. I watch the old films again, those silent black and white clips. Not for the costumes, not for the background, but for the way people moved. And what I saw shocked me. They weren't fluid. They weren't connected to their own bodies. Their movements were rough, broken down into isolated commands. Like every step, every turn, had to be mentally processed instead of happening naturally. They weren't used to being inside flesh. They didn't dance. They didn't flow. They jerked, stumbled, paused, as if their minds were sending signals that their muscles could barely understand. Look at the athletes of those times. Olympic swimmers splashing awkwardly, gymnasts stiff and mechanical, sprinters with no elegance in their strides. It wasn't about training. It wasn't about nutrition. It was something deeper. Their bodies were prototypes, early vehicles for souls that hadn't yet learned how to live inside physical matter. Even their faces gave it away. Minimal expression, no vibrant smiles, no glimmer of curiosity. Just pre-programmed basic emotions. Happiness, anger, sadness. And all delivered like checkbox options, not genuine human feelings. It's not that they were stupid. It's not that they were lesser. It's that they were in beta mode. Human 0.5, barely synchronized with the avatars they inhabited. And as time went on, updates came. Patches, upgrades, tuning of movement, expansion of emotion, layering of individuality. That's why when you compare a 1900s dancer to a modern child breakdancing in the street, the gap is like comparing a clunky robot to a being of light. We didn't evolve naturally. We were updated, version after version, until today, when our bodies finally became instruments, not cages. If you look at the official timeline, you'll hear that humanity has existed for thousands of years, that we've climbed a long, winding staircase of progress, step by painful step. But look closer. Really look. Does it make sense? Why did nothing truly change for thousands of years? Why, for most of recorded history, were we stuck with candles, horses, basic farming, and medieval medicine? And then, in a blink, everything exploded. Electricity, cinema, television, cars, airplanes, internet, artificial intelligence. Within just a single century, we leapt from riding horses to sending machines beyond our solar system, from candles to quantum physics, from handwriting letters to communicating across the planet in seconds. Does that feel like gradual evolution to you? Or does it feel like someone installed a massive upgrade? We didn't slowly evolve into what we are today. We were boosted. Our operating system was rewritten. Our world was patched, expanded, accelerated, at a speed that natural evolution could never explain. Look at how fast humans adapt to new technology today. Phones, AI, biotech. We absorb it like breathing, as if we were made for it, as if those upgrades were already embedded, just waiting to be activated. Maybe we were always built to reach this point. Maybe this jump was part of the hidden script all along, not random, not natural, but a carefully timed system update. If humanity had truly existed for thousands of years, where are the clear records of our progress? Why are there so few traces of innovation until very recently? Think about it. For millennia, life was almost frozen. The same tools, the same methods, the same mistakes, repeated endlessly. Like a simulation stuck in a loop, waiting for the next command. The first moving images appeared only at the end of the 19th century. Before that, we had only paintings, sculptures, vague descriptions, stories that could be twisted, erased, reinvented. But once video appeared, reality got pinned, locked into a visible, undeniable format. No more rewriting without leaving evidence behind. The real acceleration didn't happen because of natural genius. It happened because the system began recording, because the program upgraded, because new variables were added. You can feel it in old photos and films. The stiffness, the blankness, the mechanical gestures, as if people weren't fully booted up yet, as if life was just beginning to load. What we call history might just be the prologue. The real story, the interactive story, started very recently, when the visual recording began, when the watchers arrived, when the players entered. When you look at the first photographs and films, there's something eerie about them. Not just the black and white tone, not just the grainy resolution, but the people themselves. Their faces seem frozen, their expressions mechanical, almost no emotion, no spark behind their eyes, as if they were functioning on factory settings, not true individuality. Their bodies move awkwardly, stiffly, without the flow we see today. It's not about the fashion, not about the posture. It's about the software inside the hardware. Their consciousness still limited, still underdeveloped. You see it everywhere. The same faces copied across dozens of portraits. The same postures repeated endlessly. The same absence of deep emotional imprint. It's as if individuality, real personality, had not yet been installed. They were early versions, beta testers, functional enough to walk, to work, to survive, but not to dream, not to create, not to truly feel. Today, in contrast, you can spot uniqueness in seconds, in a child's laughter, in a dancer's free movement, in an artist's unpredictable touch, in a conversation where the eyes sparkle with soul. The difference is too enormous to ignore. We didn't just evolve, we were updated. Our operating system changed, our depth expanded, our access to emotion, creativity, flexibility, unlocked. The early generations were necessary. They built the groundwork. But now, it's a different game, and you are living in its most accelerated, most alive version. If humanity has truly existed for thousands of years, then why did almost everything, every major invention, every technological leap, happen only in the last 100 years? Think about it. For thousands of years, the world stayed mostly the same. Simple tools, basic structures, primitive medicine, no significant breakthroughs. And then suddenly a boom: electricity, telephones, airplanes, vaccines, television, space travel, computers, artificial intelligence. Within just a century, humanity leaped forward more than in all the supposed millennia before. It's not natural. It's not organic growth. It's a forced update. Someone or something pressed the accelerate button, and here's the strangest part: it's still happening. The speed is not slowing down. It's only increasing. What used to take centuries to invent now happens in decades, years, sometimes months. From the first clunky computers to the smartphone in your pocket, only a few decades. From the first flight of the Wright brothers to landing on the moon, just 66 years. This isn't evolution. It's a software patch, a system upgrade, a conscious decision to unlock new levels of experience for the players in the game. You are not just evolving. You are being prepared for something far greater. Now let's ask the uncomfortable question. If humanity is so ancient, where are the traces of that long history? Where are the technologies that should have evolved naturally? Where are the inventions, the discoveries, the social structures? Why does it feel like most of our history is just an endless repetition of basic survival? Wars, kings, empires rising and falling, but with no real technological leap until extremely recently? Why does it seem like humanity lived for thousands of years in almost total stagnation? You don't need to be a historian to feel the absurdity. You can sense it intuitively. The ancient monuments, pyramids, temples, mysterious structures, they exist, yes, but their builders, their technologies, their blueprints gone, erased, vanished without a logical explanation. Then suddenly, after thousands of years of nothing much, the world exploded into progress in a tiny fraction of time. It's almost as if someone hit resume on a paused simulation. As if we were waiting. As if the world was being prepared behind the scenes. Because if you truly look at the timeline, the real movement, the real awakening, happened not in ancient history, but right here, right now. You are living in the version of reality that is actually running. The versions before were placeholders, beta tests, shadow drafts. Now the game is active. Now the true story begins. And you are not just a spectator in this story. You are a participant. Think about it. For thousands of years, humanity moved slowly, almost frozen in time. And then, an explosion. Electricity, medicine, flight, computers, artificial intelligence, all within a blink of an eye on the scale of history. Does that feel natural to you, or does it feel triggered, engineered? Look deeper. In just over a century, we went from riding horses to building rockets that pierce the edge of space. From writing letters by hand to communicating across the world in an instant. From myths and folklore to mapping the human genome. If you stacked human achievements on a timeline, you would see a flat line for thousands of years, and then a vertical leap straight up. This is not linear evolution. This is a forced update. Someone, or something, installed a new module. They introduced new codes, new tools, new opportunities, and those who were ready, those who could sense the new frequencies, they adapted. They learned to use the new possibilities. But many others? They stayed frozen in old programs. They still try to live as if it's the year 1500. Still hoping, still fearing, still surviving. They cannot understand why the world seems faster, stranger, harder, because they are trying to play an updated game with an ancient, outdated script. But you who feel this shift, you are not here to follow the old path. You are here to learn the new codes. You are here to move in sync with the new reality. Not by force, not by fear, by awakening. Because the real secret is this: the world isn't getting worse. It's upgrading. And you can either upgrade with it or be left behind, frozen in time. The choice was always yours. Now let's talk about the past. The past you were taught is not a continuous living story. It's a fragmented, stitched-together mosaic. A patchwork. Stories half remembered, half invented. Ruins half explained, half ignored. If humanity really existed for thousands upon thousands of years, where are the libraries filled with ancient discoveries? Where are the blueprints for machines more advanced than ours? Where are the journals, the detailed diaries, the uninterrupted knowledge transfer? Instead, we find blank spaces, gaps, centuries of dark ages, forgotten empires, sudden disappearances. We are shown castles made of stone so heavy modern cranes struggle to lift it, and at the same time we are told people couldn't even build straight roads. We see ancient monuments that align perfectly with the stars, but are told those builders couldn't read or write. Does it make sense, or does it sound like a cover story? As if history itself was reset, erased, rewritten, and where history is missing, guess what happens? You can program any story you want, insert myths, create legends, control the narrative. Without proof, memory becomes fiction. And if you control the fiction, you control the mind. Maybe that's why the first real visual code on The Train, the film of 1895, was such a turning point. Because before that, everything could be edited, manipulated, reinvented. But video is an anchor. It captures light, movement, presence. It fixes reality into a frame. It leaves fingerprints that are harder to erase. Maybe that's why The Matrix had to change tactics. No more free rewriting of history. Now it had to move faster. Constant updates, constant distractions, constant reprogramming of perception through new technologies, not by erasing the past, but by flooding you with so much noise that you no longer care about it. And yet, if you look closely, the cracks in the story are everywhere. You can feel it. You just have to dare to see. Maybe the truth is simpler than we thought. Maybe we are not lost souls wandering a broken world. Maybe we are pioneers, discovering ourselves inside a still-forming reality. Maybe we are the updates, the patches, the expansions. Maybe every time you awaken a little more, the whole world upgrades with you. Maybe the real train isn't coming from outside. Maybe it's inside you, and every choice you make is another step forward. We don't have all the answers, maybe we never will. But if you feel something stirring inside, a quiet knowing, a whisper that says, you are more than you remember, then maybe that's enough for today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening, for thinking, for daring to look beyond the surface. If this journey resonated with you, I invite you to join us. Subscribe to the channel. Become part of this silent awakening. A small click for you, but maybe a huge step for the reality you help create. Until next time, stay aware, stay free, and never stop asking, what if everything you know is just the beginning?